it's really hard to get somebody that's not working out in your business out of your business. And that wrong hire can affect so many other different parts of your business, especially culture. If you have multiple people on there, it's like that one bad apple. We always say, hire the person that's going to help you drive more revenue. You're trying to like focus too much on aesthetics and you're not like leaning into the things that you should be doing. Get the clarity of like, what is on my plate right now that I know I'm not best at and I don't want to be doing anymore?
Welcome to Builders, the podcast for impact-driven leaders who are done carrying it all and ready to scale with clarity, strategy, and freedom. I'm your host, Alex Snyder, strategic growth architect, creator of the CEO Recode, and second brain to leaders who are building brilliant companies without sacrificing every ounce of their time, energy, or sanity. Each episode, I sit down with bold leaders who've rebuilt, recalibrated, or redefined what it means to lead well and live well on their own terms. We talk messy pivots, leadership upgrades, tactical wins, and the deep personal work it takes to build a business that actually works for you. If you love the episode, make sure you follow, rate, and share it with another leader who's building big and wants to build smarter. And if you're listening and thinking, damn, I need someone in the guts of my business with me, let's talk. Book your free business breakdown call using the link in the show notes. In 30 minutes, I'll help you pinpoint where blockers in your time, team, or strategy are silently stalling your growth and define 2 to 3 high-impact shifts you can implement now to regain traction and build momentum. Now, let's dive in. Let's build it better. Welcome to Builders. Meghan, I'm so excited to have you with us today.
Thanks, Alex. I'm very excited to be here. I love this moment for us, this like full circle moment.
Yeah. I am thrilled. So much has changed since we first met. I can't wait to, you have such a accomplished list of titles. I mean, Forbes Ranked Executive Recruiter. You really focus on high-end retail luxury. You are also an accredited career coach. You are also an angel investor, a speaker, a podcast host, an absolute style icon, may I say. The list is quite long, and most recently, a tech founder of CONCÈ, which I am so excited to dig into. But as I always say, I'm just never going to do you justice. So if you can, in your own words, tell us who you are and what you're building.
Well, you did incredible justice. So don't sell yourself short there, Miss All-Star yourself. But I mean, you really lined it up very well. But in my soul, when you think about Meghan Houle, you think about hiring. Right. I mean, that to my core, and I love telling this story now. Yes, as newly minted tech founder, I hired my first hire at the age of 20, working in like the It Mall here in the US, the malls. Remember a mall? Who goes to a mall? And I think from then, got my taste of knowing what it took to put together high performing teams and the success that comes from being this like career clairvoyant and saying like, we got a goal to achieve. Who are, and I call them like the Avengers now. Building my tech company, I was very much leaning into like Marvel, the Avengers. I'm like, okay, the superpower, everyone has their ring, that we're going to come together and like rule the world. But we can't do it all. And we'll probably get into more of that as a founder. And I've learned that over the years, miss burn the candle at both ends. That's a title I've held also. But I think that for me, loving to help individuals navigate what's next for them professionally has just been something, as I've curated teams my whole life for mall brands, fast fashion, to working at LVMH and Louis Vuitton for many years, running global flagships, running multi-million-dollar businesses for massive global corporations, not for the faint of heart, to pivoting to agency side, as you well put it, as an executive recruiter with a reputation that has been recognized by top platforms, which I'm so grateful for, to now having this moment where I know it's time to serve in a bigger way, seeing the holes in the process of hiring and recruiting that have been going on for years, but really in decades, Alex. This industry, software process hasn't been disrupted. And I'm like, it's 2025. we can probably do better. And the market is screaming for it. The skies are opening. So, yes, all things hiring, recruiting, but absolutely love to be out there. I know that's how you and I met, putting my thought leadership out into the world, inspiring people to live their best lives, whether you're on a professional, corporate, girly, man, girl, whoever journey you're on. Can you tell I'm like very used to talking to like female entrepreneur groups? Or if you are a founder that is like, I have an idea and I want to bring it to the world. Everybody has their own path. But
Mm.
to our core, it's like truly we have to be able to believe that we're worthy and be able to navigate that. And just with all of the platforms, visibility, and offerings I have, to my soul, that's really what I try to do with each individual that comes into my world. How can I support you? How can I help you live your best professional business life? That's me,
Thank you
you
so
know?
much. I love
Yeah.
that. And yes, you and I absolutely have that in common. For those listening, Meg and I met on a panel at Be Fearless Summit talking about all kinds of things, honestly. But speaking to, women, predominantly women who are kind of like leaving university and looking at what's next, whether they want to be entrepreneurs, they want to go into different industries. And, we're both just there because we really believe in supporting others and sharing our knowledge, thought leadership. And it was such a pivotal moment. I'll never forget having that panel with you. And it's been such a privilege to get to know you and watch you make this next step. I'm wondering if we can take us back a little bit to what shaped your leadership. Is there inflection points or pivots or mentors or like even big mistakes that were really fundamental in kind of who you are as a leader today?
Oh, yeah. And I want to say this, and it's not to say in any way coming from a victim mindset or whatnot. Growing up in I think being in a competitive industry via retail, especially luxury at certain levels, and being a woman at times, there wasn't ever, I felt, of a lot of people that wanted to see me win. And I don't believe I truly ever had mentors growing up because the asylum that raised me was all about leaning into working 14-hour days, living and dying in the stores. Someone called out sick or whatnot. Like, that store, that's your responsibility. Like, okay, well, then I guess I'm working a double shift today, or so on and so forth. And, as I grew in the ranks and was doing more multi unit things and whatnot, I just felt having this innate people pleaser type A Virgo, which I know you and I line on the Virgo side very well. I was like, cool, like, how can I do all the things? Okay, I don't want to disappoint anybody, so I'm just going to take it all on. And people knew they could push me, Alex. I mean, like, literally, because I'll deliver. So if you're going to try to tell me I can't do something or I'm not doing enough, I'm going to do it. I'm going to build a t-shirt. I'm going to trademark it. Like, we're going to get it done. So I looked at the terrible leadership that was going on around me. Actually was a part of a very unfortunate like sexual harassment case for one of my old companies back in the day, which wound up turning into this massive legal battle of seeing like all these terrible things going on there. A boss who allowed me to fall down a flight of stairs and then demanded I got up and like drive to stores. I mean, girl, I the asylum that raised me was not one that was like, yes, you can do it. It was actually like, how can we squeeze the most blood out of you possible and leave you as a shell of a human?
Mm.
So I'm like, huh, okay. Well, what I do then is with this craziness that's gone around, I feel like I've always been this like shield. And I'm not sure that if it's because of how I was raised, like very young, my parents were divorced. I grew up real quick. I basically have been parenting myself since I was 8 years old. So I'm like very aware of all the surroundings and all the things that are going on, good, bad, or otherwise.
Yeah.
And I've taken all those things. I'm like, cool, don't want to be like that. That's fine, but I'm going to be a different version of that. And collectively, kind of like built what I thought in terms of especially managing people or helping people lead their lives. Like, you want to wake up every day and make someone feel like a piece of crap? Absolutely not. So for me, I almost protected my teams a bit from the chaos that was going around and sort of took it and was like, okay, guys, so you sort of live in this Jekyll and Hyde moment of like, I'm getting abused, but yet I'm, dissociating. And then like you show up and you're like listening like to like hate music in the car and in your work car. It's like that meme when you're like listening to gangster rap, the moms and they're going to like Whole Foods or something like wholesome, but you're like, you gotta like get your real personality out. So I think for me, it was seeing what I didn't want to be, unfortunately, with some extreme situations, but also to the core, like knowing that people show up, they're excited to work for you, excited to have this job. Like, gosh, how could you ever, especially in a service environment, come in and like want to make somebody feel terrible that's also trying to service the client to make them feel good? And we could go on for days about how a lot of retailers need to clean up their act or they're going to continue to not be relevant anymore because they'll never be able to keep hiring the way that they treat people. But I always knew I wanted to be better. And the things that happened to me, good, better, otherwise, I'm like, okay, how can I learn from this? And how can I evolve my leadership so I never make somebody feel like I felt?
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
it's a
that.
lot.
I think we
It's a
could
lot.
absolutely have a
It's a lot.
whole episode on, yeah, leadership via, emulating or moving away from what you've seen and what, the trickle down of like, especially service industry, right? You're expecting people to go out and interface in a certain way. If you aren't like putting them in that mindset, there's a huge disconnect. However, yeah, we won't dwell too much there. How did you know that you were meant to build businesses and why CONCÈ? Why now?
Create what you wish existed.
Love it.
So we all are best at solving a problem for a solution that we all may see now in our businesses. The things that people don't do are execute on that. So, for instance, me, decades into an agency life, navigating, I mean, LinkedIn was kind of like just barely a thing, almost like 20 years ago. Certainly not all the bells and whistles that it was at now. I don't want to say this because it's really date me, but I feel like a few of my partners were back in the day, like using phone books. Remember phone books, like trying to get people's phone numbers? These like guerrilla tactics where you talk to a certain up and coming demographic. They're like, oh my God, I have to call somebody and talk on the phone. Like, we don't do that. I'm like, yes, cold call, baby. Dial in for dollars. You go dial for those dollars. And all along this journey, I'm like, okay, this process is a little clunky. It's super manual. There's a lot of steps. Companies spend a lot of money. And I really feel like after the pandemic, or even going into the pandemic, as I was saying before, this sort of like aha moment where I could serve at a bigger level, my entrepreneurial soul, and I will never forget this. I have a post actually on my Instagram, 2020, right? I feel like it was a year of like, we're gonna do it all. This is new, everything, like we're gonna crush it. And then the universe is like, haha, just kidding. So I was like, author, this, boom. I like called it out. And then we're all kind of given a different path. And with that, I saw it as an opportunity with so many people coming to me wanting to have like, can you help me find a job? Oh my gosh, I'm furloughed. I'm laid off, all this terrible stuff. And I'm like, again, that's not what a recruiter does. Like, we don't find people jobs. But then I was also like, well, I don't have the capacity all day to sit and coach people. I mean, I did until I was like, this is a thing. So I actually thrusted myself into a coaching, accreditation, whatever, set up my first business because I saw a bigger opportunity to serve and saw a solution to a problem that was needed where people were stressed about career coaching and maybe like not even knowing where to go or who to trust. And like this person, me, has been doing it for 2 decades. I'm like, I got you. Like, we're going to do it. Fast forward to now, There's again, the market is ripe for a reset. The future of hiring is not what is happening now, where people are using 7 software system solutions, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on one hire. 75% of people apply to a jobs have no business applying to them because it's unregulated, it's unfiltered, companies are overwhelmed, HR people are getting thousands of resumes coming in one job post. I'm like, you're telling me you're paying that person 6 figures to go through an ATS system? How is that a good use of time? And oh, by the way, if you're a CEO trying to manage this or a founder, you're drowning, you're overwhelmed, you have an endless to do list, you're losing money because you need to hire people. Do you feel like that's the best use of your time? And no one is touching this, Alex. So for me, I was like, there is a massive white space, not only on the candidate side, because there's no agents for professionals. No one's out there finding you a job. Even if you're paying a career coach a bunch of money, they're not. Do they have the connections? How are they getting you in front of people? They're just another email in an inbox. So with CONCÈ, end to end, from businesses to professionals, we're solving so many problems with this software solution. And that was my next move, I think, as this next level founder, of coming up with the idea, being inspired, getting into a room of women entrepreneurs. I went on this like mastermind. It was like life changing for anyone listening. If you're not investing in yourself to get it into new rooms, like, what are you even doing? Alex and I are here because we got into new rooms and we were able to meet people. And it's just so powerful, the connection in a community that actually was clapping for me. Imagine that. It only took like 41 years, but it's fine. So I think that for me, that's like where it all started, was just sitting in a seat, knowing I'm meant for more, seeing it come in, saying, how could I solve that problem? And then that just continuing to scale. And especially as it applies to hiring and recruiting, nobody thinks about it until you like need to hire, which is the most expensive part of your business when done in a, I would say, rushed type way, or also done incorrectly. And it's just not, the future is not what we have now. So
So
it's a lot, but yeah.
yeah, I have a perspective on building new businesses because so many people come to me being like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Because I've been there and I've done it. And I'm curious to see if you agree, or kind of how this worked for you with CONCÈ. So people come to me all the time like, I want to build this app. And I'm like, that's great. Like, what's the service? Like, how, are people asking for this? And my view, and, this is biased because we also did this even within our agency, our digital reality design development agency, where we would basically find a need, we would build something, and then we would figure out how to make it repeatable, and whether that was like ripping the tech out and creating something more productized or whatever. But I always tell people, my guidance, when it's free guidance and I'm not, in the guts of your business, is create it as a service to the point where you have proven it and it's maxed out, and then figure out how to bring tech more into the equation and potentially turn it into a product, app, whatever. I'm curious what your perspective is on that, and if that's kind of how CONCÈ came to be, or if you were immediately like, no, I fully understand this needs to be a tech product and that's it.
Yeah. Well, for 13 years, I've been doing this service manually.
Right. Okay.
Right. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is proven. I've, closed multi-million dollars in deals, placed thousands of people in jobs all across North America. I'm like, it's proven. What we're seeing now on the agency side are resources and budgets being pulled back. It's not even that. It's like, how do you sustain in your own business if you don't innovate and evolve? So seeing this current need and the current market shifts, but then also seeing the tech that is out there and available and being like, oh, but we can do better. So it's seeing the problem and having it. Yeah, I think you have to. And that's why I say, like, I think me coming from luxury, being in service, seeing almost this like 360 view of the industry that I'm most equipped to serve at this point, because I come from it. But then now being like, oh, well, there's really like innovation that's moving so fast, AI, and even with like the biggest ATS systems with like AI and whatnot, it's still clunky. Like, you're still managing this more is more and resumes and the filtering. And it's like, how do we get that right? CONCÈ is something, where I also feel like there's not enough that leans into the real heart and soul of truly what gets people hired, which are soft skills. We're
Mm.
so caught up in resumes, musty, crusty, dusty resumes, where everyone's like, oh, you were only in this job 2 years. What happened? It's like, why are we so focused on the wrong things? Like, this person in front of you has incredible value. Everybody thinks everything's a red flag now. I'm like, we need to get rid of the timelines. We need to lean into talent. We need to lean into digital professional pitches where people,
Mm.
if we're so used to making videos on Insta, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, well, why can't we have a professional pitch that lands on a page where someone comes to your page in CONCÈ and they're like, oh, let me click on Meghan. She looks good. She got a great background. Let me check her vibe. Boom. Hi, I'm Meghan
Mm.
Houle. I'm 20-year veteran in the luxury recruiting space. My goal is to get X. Like, we need to also start training people how to talk about themselves in a more meaningful way, because if you can't do that, you're never going to be able to navigate an interview process. So, with all of that, the tech, like, it's just this white space now, Alex. And I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
somebody's going to get there first. It's going to be us. But I think, like you were saying, scalability, this could go into any industry across any category, because the ways that we're all recruiting via tech, real estate, hospitality, retail, it's all the same. It's all the same
Yeah.
processes. So, but there's like no singular solution, even for agency side. Like, a lot of agency recruitment tech is actually going away too. So again, like I was saying, this, like, the skies are sort of opening up,
Mhm.
to be like, here we go, capture it, capture the monkey before someone else does. So I would say, yeah, start with, like, knowing you can solve the problem, the concept, because you've been doing it via manual or otherwise, and then get it to a place where you can really scale. And unfortunately, I don't think on the agency side, I think there comes a plateau with that, and like how much you can serve, because there's going to be price resistance from all angles with companies. And if people want to pay you, they're not going to use you, right? Like, so
Mhm.
it's like, how do you give them a better solution, right?
Thank you for sharing into that, because I think that's really
Yes.
important to highlight when we're talking about, like, hey, you're a tech founder, but you've been doing a version of this for 20 years. Okay, well,
Yes.
what was the rationale? Well, the rationale was there is tech right now that could add leverage, accelerate, amplify your knowledge. Also, you saw a better way to serve both parties. And
Hmm.
yes, there are incumbents, ATS, but this is actually a different formula. That's different. That's unique. And I think that's the thing when people are thinking about new tech, they don't see all of that, right? They only see once it's done. They're like, oh, that thing that was so obviously going to be amazing. No, like there were probably,
Mm-mm.
a bazillion people who had ideas and poured their life savings into it without really understanding it, as opposed to you who've been doing this for your entire, 20 years. And now
Yeah.
you're like, now's the time, like, go, go, go. As you said, be first with the depth of knowledge. That's a killer combination.
Yes, girl. Investors out there listening. Just
There's your
kidding.
pitch.
Here's the founder with credibility. Call me.
Mhm.
No, but like, why not me? Why not you? Why not anybody? You are, what the other part of what I love to say too, and I know others are saying, is like, you're best equipped to serve like a version that you used to be. And I've struggled with, navigating my own search for years. I, struggle at times where people are, begging to be hired and not being seen. And like, because I'm such an empath, I'm like, how can I get you a job? And like holding space for so many people. And I'm like, now to have this life changing app on a job seeker side that's filling a massive white space, that's actually going to help you organize and navigate your next move and be that back pocket recruiter, and think like Bumble for jobs, Raya for jobs. Like, imagine like waking up, you have your apps that you love, do some meditation, journal first. Like, please don't pick up the phone. But then when you're ready, like, check your bank account, check in, so whatever you need. But then you're going to open CONCΗ and be like, oh my gosh, I'm matched with the 3 jobs today, or I'm matched with 5 jobs. Do I want to apply? Do I want to accept? Like, y'all, you don't need to chase after LinkedIn anymore. Holy cow. Like, amen. Sorry, LinkedIn, like, you're amazing in ways, but I'm like, people don't even want to apply anymore, Alex, because they're like, it's literally like rage applying to get a rejection. How does that feel, everybody? Like, you're be on the platform, you get matched, amazing. If you're not on the platform, we're going to have other resources, other coaches, other people to help you. Maybe you need to navigate a salary negotiation. Maybe you need to navigate a difficult conversation with your boss. Maybe you need to navigate a resignation. Maybe you want to connect with like another cool founder on there and like start the next like SaaS tech product. Like it's just a community of privately vetted professionals that are on the platform because they actually want to lean into their professional community, get hired, upskill, learn, and kind of get out of the noise, right? So
I want to
yeah,
talk a little bit about the
real
journey.
passionate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about the journey a little bit because founding a tech platform, in navigating investors, raising capital, like this in general is a scary place. It's something that most people don't get to see firsthand. And then women, and I'm going to totally get this quote wrong, but it's like 2% of like
Yeah.
VC women. Like it's so much more challenging on what is already a very challenging road.
Yeah.
You, if I'm not mistaken, you pitched at Create and Cultivate recently.
Yeah.
How did you decide to launch there, and what was the experience like?
Yeah, I will tell you, and shout out to my girls. So Marina Middleton, Jacqueline Johnson was the first ever founder of Crane Cultivate years ago. So this amazing, sort of media events company for women in business existed. Jacqueline actually sold her company for 25 million, had her exit. And about 2023, with my friend Marina, and then also Allie Webb from Dry Bar, they decided to, kind of like bring back a type of, I would say, mastermind-ish, like almost like a 3-day weekend event in Napa, where we sort of came together and brought all these women together, which was amazing. And it's funny, it's like, for me and like all the woo woo that exists in my life, I've always had like create and cultivate on my radar. Like people like create and cultivate. I'm like, cool, that would be so fun to be on stage. But when it came into my peripheral, Jacqueline had already exited. So I was like, well, what is this? Like it's digital. It like definitely changed. And then at the mastermind, it was the Blueprint Mastermind that now is under Create and Cultivate. I had met Jacqueline and Marina and Allie. And then, in that mastermind, there were some things going on behind the scenes where Jacqueline and Marina, they actually bought back Create and Cultivate, which is insane. So, you kind of put yourself into these new rooms and I'm like, huh. But also the idea for CONCÈ came in that mastermind. So I always said, like, you guys, this it is because of you, because I decided to invest in myself for the first time ever, putting myself in this big old scary room, not even knowing who the heck I was professionally. I'm like, oh, I'm an agency recruiter, not screaming out confidently now amongst women that I've had multi-million dollar businesses, like franchise businesses, beauty businesses, like businesses all across the country. I'm like, who am I to be in this room? But I just got so inspired. And I think sometimes you want to be in rooms where people are doing the things that you want to be doing and you kind of like latch into that energy and that universe and you're like, I can do it all. So I actually thought about the business and it was a whole different name back in the day. And from there, and I say this to Marina when I was at the festival a couple weekends ago, we actually flew home on the same plane from that first mastermind that I was in. And on the plane, I was like writing in the notes, kind of the business outline. I remember she got up to go to the bathroom. My Marina, look, guess what I'm building. And almost 2 years later, we had the opportunity to invest to do a pop-up at the Crane Cultivate Festival, which was in LA, which is incredible. It was like 2 days, like Coachella for like professional entrepreneurs. Like Sierra was there, Dolce performed this private concert. I'm like, what is life? And it was this full circle moment where, girl, it took a lot to get there. Let's not lie. But the decision to do that was because these were the women that helped me get there.
I
Like
love that.
chills. Like I saw my booth and I was like, this is my baby child. I'm crying. Like we brought it to life. We did the dang thing, which I know it sounds easy, just like when Simone Biles goes out and tries to win those gold medals, and we're like, we can do that double handspring backflip. Yeah, the people that are working the hardest behind the scenes make it look freaking easy, but it's not easy. It's not. And everyone thinks they can do it until they actually try doing it and they're like tapping out. But I think I'm so grateful for the connections, but it's a lot there that it's not luck, it's not anything. It's strategic investments, it's strategic positioning,
Mm.
and you're gonna lose money A lot of people are going to hate you. You're going to have to do a big old friends edit. You're going to have to do a big old everything edit. And if you don't, I mean, then just continue to keep doing what you're doing. And that's just not what I saw my future to be. So it was actually like a really awesome full circle moment
Yeah, what a
and really
perfect
special,
ending.
you know? Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
love how you said that like it's making it look easy is the trick. We used
Oh my
to
God. Yeah.
grew up in equestrian competing, and we would say like, yeah, you can cowboy your way around, you can haul a horse around a course, but the person who actually gets around and makes it look easy is like the top level of skill, right?
Oh my
And I
God.
think that that
Horses are
is
scary. Like, I mean, that's hard. I tried to ride a horse in Hawaii. I was like, no, no, but that's crazy.
but
Yeah.
that to me is like so much why I do this podcast, right? Is to
Yeah.
talk about these things so that when if you're facing that today or you're thinking about it and thinking, oh my God, I don't even know, like everyone who is up where you want to be has been there, has faltered, has had the moments where they weren't sure it was going to happen, right? And I love what you said about the rooms. I think one of my biggest business expenses is being in the right rooms. I have paid to be in the room with people who are some of my best friends
Mhm.
now. Particularly women,
Mhm.
finding your group of women for me, like, is a game changer. And the women that are
Mhm.
cheering for me now, I mean, just I don't know what I would do without them. It's absolutely a game changer. So I love that you called that out. What kind of, I'm sure there's like years, I know there's years, but what did you do kind of before the event? Were you fundraising before the launch event? What did you do to prepare for it? I'm curious kind of what the highlights of that
Oh my
journey leading up
gosh.
to really bringing it out to the public was like
Yeah.
for
Well, like I said, I mean, so January 2024,
you.
this business name was a whole different model. Like the inner workings of it was what I knew it wanted to be, but even like creatively and like try trademarking. So the first go around of this business, it was called Scout.
Mm,
And, I sat at the mastermind in Napa and I was like, cool, like I'm ideating names and like, what do I want to call? So I'm like, what's another word for recruiter? Looking at all the things. I'm like, oh, Scout. Yeah. Try trademarking Scout as like a recruiting plan, like everybody. Okay. You're like, get real, Megan. So from there, I did almost like this like mini pitch in an abbreviated version of that mastermind from Napa where we wound up getting together in January. And, I got some harsh feedback right away. And I was like, cool. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm
okay.
good. Thanks, guys. Mrs. Maisel, good night. Goodbye and good luck. So from there, I was like, but we still have an idea. So I think then that could have been, step one where I'm just like, no, everyone's saying it's like not great name. And we focused so much on the vanity early on building our businesses. We actually were on this on a panel of like making things look pretty and perfect and the websites and spending $100,000 and all that. Yes, like eventually that comes, but I'm like, build the rock solid idea first. And like anything else will be coming up in inspiration and you'll get there. So from there, I really yeah, it's been what 16 months in the making where we were reiterating the names, trying to like kind of get some UX UI in, frameworking a bit about who we're serving. I think another big miss that people, happens when people build businesses, like they don't know their audience. Like they think like this is for everybody. It's not. I mean, if you're trying to build something for everybody, that's the pathway to 100% failure because you have to know your ideal client. You have to know who you're serving, why you're, best equipped to serve all of that. So for me, probably not until Christmas of last year when I shot my shot and I said, all right, we're going to catapult this. We have a new name, CONCÈ, which came from my luxury service days. I'm like, when you think about service, what types of levels, who serves? If it's not a scout finding jobs, I'm like, well, concierge people, you go to a hotel, five-star resort, you run right up to the desk. What should we do today? Or they map out exactly what you should be doing and you give them your profile and that's what CONCΗ is doing. We're helping businesses map out. We're like a five-star luxury resort for your job and business as it applies to hiring and recruiting. You're welcome. So with that, I was like, how can I really thrust myself and make this going? I called Marina. I said, I think I want to launch that Create and Cultivate. And she's like, let's go, with big Marina Middleton energy. So I was like, okay, we're going. So I will tell you, fundraise before you need it. You're going to have 175 versions of your pitch deck, and everyone's going to have an opinion on it. Don't stress out about the deck. Like, get the key core foundations. I feel like you and I probably could do a masterclass on pitch deck and pitching now at this point. But then I was like, oh, we need some resources. And oh, by the way, we need somebody to build this. So again, harnessing my superpower Avengers, we had some UX UI, but I'm like, who is the engineering team? What is this? What is even that? Oh my God, I can barely turn on my Apple phone, truly. Not engineering this platform. So actually another individual I met at another mastermind, my friend Serena, is helping me build. And again, like putting myself in new rooms, like all these wonderful, beautiful humans that fall into your orb, and you're just like, I know them and they're here for a reason. Maybe I don't know it right now, but I will soon. And here you go. It's literally everyone in my life right now, even including you. So, I think that we fast tracked it. And I was like, guys, I knew we weren't beta testing by July because that was insane because we started the build in February. But I mean, I didn't have my first I was fundraising. I was doing multiple versions of the pitches, getting pitch deck coaching. I remember pitching for the first time, like friends and family in Zoom. And, you're just like so nervous, and to ask people for their hard-earned money, to angel invest in a friend, a family, a friend, where, their savings and whatnot could be used for other things. We're like, Meghan, we believe in you. And I think what's so beautiful is the fact that so many people in my life have seen what I've been doing for a very long time and knowing how successful I've been. And they're like, the chips are on you. Great. That's angels. That's friends and family. People are going to believe in you. They invest in the founder. Now, I haven't taken on this yet, but I have talked to VCs, and that's a whole nother beast, right? Proof of concept, like, all the things, numbers. I mean, I have financial spreadsheets for days. We know our MRRs, we know our ARRs. Like, I do know it, but it's like insane. This language that never came out of my mouth, not even last summer, 1 year ago today, that how much you learn by just the doing, and scary, uncomfortable, but now it's like pretty freaking cool to be able to go in and talk like SaaS metrics and these investor conversations. Can anyone giving you their cash? They're like, what is my rate of return? Hold on. Hey Siri, turn off. Why did Siri just came on? Oh, it's like head over heels. There's a reason behind.
We'll edit out, don't worry.
Anyway, so with that, I think that the things I could learn and maybe teach people are like, get some funding a little sooner, especially in a climate where we're in 2025. And if you don't have resources where, there could be months where people like aren't investing, but there's still things to pay for, you got to be okay with saying like, I'm about to take my life savings down to the level possible. But when you believe in something, and I think when people look to invest in you, they're like, oh, you've dropped almost $500,000 of your own money into this. This is like no joke. And I'm like, no, this isn't, like a project. This is an actual solution where we're going to change the world. And that's how strongly I believe in it. So, you're going to learn a lot of new things and make yourself real uncomfortable. But how good does it feel to like stand in your voice and be like, this is my company. This is why I'm building it. This is what I'm going to solve. This is how I'm going to kind of change whatever space that I'm navigating. And this is why you should invest in me. And they're going to hear a lot of no's, and that's okay. You don't want everybody on your cap table, so that's fine. Their loss. But no, I'm like, right? You're like, their loss, but also call me if you want to invest. I mean, really, it starts with you and the founder. And if you don't believe in your idea and you don't have, the good enthusiasm behind it, especially as a woman, I know it's crazy, Alex. Like I'll hear, people going to these dinners, male dinners, and like they walk out of the room with like $2 million, and like they said something out loud. I have 100 pitch decks. I'm just like, what's to hear? But I mean, I've met some of the most amazing, like male VCs and like people that have been so kind and so helpful.
Yeah.
So just go, just do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a little scary asking people for money, but not when you know you have something that is incredible that you're just so passionate about. So it's been a journey, really has been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking to a level of clarity, right? And I've heard you also mention, changing the world, purpose, all of that. And I'm curious, when we talk about that outside of just CONCΗ for you, for Meg Houle, what does sort of success on your terms mean like to you today?
Well, as you saw me coming into this podcast, listen, there are going to be seasons where you're straight out. You may have not left the house in a couple of days and you're crying in an acai bowl. Not in your protein goals. I'm just kidding. Did you work out today? Maybe. For me, this is what I would say my legacy.
Mm.
And success for me, I'm childless, no kids, two cats. There's kind of this level that's like always been like the ball busting career lady, like watch out, here comes Megan, the childless woman. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I think that there's a legacy piece for me that I feel like my career always hasn't defined me, but I've like always loved working. And as a small child, I've always wanted to be in service of others. I'm like, how can I work at 13, babysit, whatever? I've just always been like, how can I help? I mean, truly. So success for me is looking like freedom, and building with purpose. And I think freedom in the sense that, for so long, whether you're tied into a corporate company or an agency schedule where you're always on, your time is not necessarily yours. You don't really get to dictate that. Thankfully I am remote, so I have flexibility with that. But like honestly, it doesn't really matter because the days or whatever, you just want to be at your home office, like getting stuff done. I mean, I really, I've leaned into a lot of business building, not a ton of vacation this year. That's okay, we'll get there. But I feel like that I see that bigger end game. So I know that this is a season where I have to like lean in. And I'm not saying, you should affect your health, mental health, whatever that is, but I would say like if you want to do something bad enough, no matter what it is, without sacrificing too much, like you're going to make it happen. And I think for me, that success will be like successfully launching this and just seeing how many professional lives are changed by having people feel less stressed as it applies to getting jobs and also saving businesses a lot of freaking money, Alex, where then there could be this opportunity of being able to hire more, putting more money into certain parts of your business because you're not spending so much on the process. And what could that do, especially for luxury fashion and retail, where a lot of things are tight or being cut right now. So this actively working, people feeling amazing, shouting it all over. CONCΗ got me my job, and this platform's been life changing. And then just being able to sit back and be like, wow, we did this, and I'll be like, what's next, of course. But just feeling that I'm taking back my time and pouring it into something where I know needs my attention because again, we're really going to change the future of hiring with this. And I think that is all I could ask for to be successful with the legacy that I would like to leave as it applies to the professional world, you know?
I like how you frame that
Yeah.
and how exciting to have the insight and opportunity to change an industry, a world, lives, companies, right? Like how incredible. We've
Mm,
talked a little bit
yeah.
about how, your work across the recruitment landscape has shaped your perspective and approach to building CONCΗ. And I'm wondering, and how CONCΗ is going to change the game. Wondering if we take a step back, there's a lot of entrepreneurs, executives, business owners listening to this podcast, and you have been exposed to so many leaders, to so many teams. You started with building high performing teams. You and I really have that in common. Are there
Mhm.
common threads of what are the biggest roadblocks to successfully, I'm going to say, recruiting and retaining top talent?
Mm, hmm I know. I literally just talked on stage on this in Create Cultivate. It's lack of clarity
Mm.
and who you want to bring into your business.
Mhm.
And bringing somebody in too quickly, not setting them up for success. And then, you have this massive turnover because someone's like, well, that's not what I was hired in for. That's not a part of my job. Or you get, the attitudes that are not necessarily aligned culturally, where like, fine, you can say to somebody, this is the job scope. You're going to wear a lot of hats. I'm sure people hear that a lot sometimes. And a lot of people can embrace that. But if that transparency and clarity is not given up front, no longer are we painting these like pictures and scopes of jobs where we're trying to bamboozle people to get in because we're like, we need you, you're amazing. And they get in, and then day two, they're like, what did I do? And, the last thing that anyone needs right now in the business is to get out there and have your brand reputation be
Mm.
tarnished by something that's so fixable and easy, where if someone's had a bad experience working for your brand, like, again, I mean, that can spread. Like the good sort of spreads, the bad like really spreads. Glass door, So at the end of the day, anyone sitting down and saying, I need to add to my team, or there needs to be some type of a job shift, especially if you're a solopreneur. I always say this. I'm like, hire the person that's going to help you drive more revenue. Like,
Mm.
what is taken away from your business because you're trying to like navigate all these things and you're not taking that business development call, or you're not able to do that, or you're trying to like focus too much on aesthetics and you're not like leaning into the things that you should be doing because our to do list is never ending. So, at the end of the day, businesses need to make money, like unless that's
Mm.
not maybe not your business model. So how can you bring in maybe an EA, a VA? Like there's just so many like virtual or remote opportunities, or an expert marketer. Google Ads, like whatever it needs, but like get the clarity of like what is on my plate right now that I know I'm not best at and I don't want to be doing anymore.
Mm.
That's sucking the life out of you and not allowing you to drive revenue. And then if it's a brand or anyone navigating an interview process, like make sure the interview process is transparent. There's good communication throughout. It's streamlined. You're allowing for people to be under the impression of whether or not they're getting the job or not. Like, let somebody go, like, give them a no if they're not going to be right for your business. Like, let's not ghosting people. But I just feel like it's all of that. It's lack of clarity, lack of communication, hiring too quickly, thinking that we can hire people in and they're going to be the unicorn. We need a unicorn, a purple unicorn. I'm like, no, like, we're hiring people. Like, let's stop looking for purple unicorns. So within that, like, I think that really is the key to success. If you're bringing in anyone and really wanting to have them be set up for success and keep your brand reputation intact, like don't just throw people into the lion's den. No one wants to work like that anymore, like with no clear expectations or deliverables, or you're going to do this, but now day two, you have 18 different other jobs. No, so
Right.
it's gonna be
It
like,
sounds
no,
like you
thank
need
you.
like clear strategy, clear
Yes.
operational design, team structure, and then to identify, the role and the culture and fit and kind of person you're looking to fill that role, rather than like, we need help, get a
We
body
just
in
need
here.
help. Like, okay, what does that mean? And what's on your plate now that is distracting you, especially in the smaller businesses where I feel like they really struggle. Um, just hire slow, take your
Mhm.
time, because that it's really hard to get somebody that's not working out in your business out of your business. And it can be a nightmare. And that wrong hire can affect so many other different parts of your business, especially culture. If you have multiple people on there, it's like that one bad apple, we always say. And you don't want to be so disruptive that you get into a real pickle where nobody wants to work with that person anymore, and they're like, we're done. So it's a delicate dance, however you frame it, shape it. I'm here to help. We have all these fun resources coming up, but certainly if anyone's struggling, feel free to connect with me. There's a lot of ways. I do a lot of business consultation and advising on like early stage hiring or like big hiring sort of talent shifts, where sometimes it's nice to talk it out with an external person.
Perfect.
And
Yeah, I
probably
was
you
about
help
to
people
say
too, right? With your ops as
absolutely.
well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
I was going to say, we wrap up with a few rapid fires, but before we
yeah.
do that, I want to make sure, how do people know they need you? And if they feel that they want to learn more about you, about CONCΗ, reach out, what's the
Mhm.
best way to do that? We'll make sure we capture that in the show notes.
Yeah, well, in the show notes, I will send you both links. If you're a job seeker, get onto the wait list. Again, as I said, we'll start in a luxury fashion world, beauty, CPG, wellness, and anything kind of service related or things that we love to buy. But CONCÈ is going to scale. So even if you're not in the business or you're a founder, or you may be kind of seeking some type of pivot, get on the wait list because we're going to see you. We're going to activate you when we know we have jobs. You're going to be a part of our career community no matter what. You're going to get our resources. We're going to have masterclasses. It's going to be amazing. For businesses, if you're interested in testing the platform, we'll be looking for beta, from now till early 2026. We would love to have you on the platform. So check out those two links. MeghanHoule.com is really kind of like where my whole other life lives of just who am I and all the messaging and the podcast. And I'll have a new season kind of coming out and reimagining some things. There's a lot of resources there. And on Instagram, we have at Hire with CONCÈ and at All Things Meg Houle, just for like daily inspo. I can't wait to keep, bringing CONCÈ to life on Insta. You feel like it's this like new child. You're like, ooh, what outfit do you want to wear today? So we have a lot of content that we're going to be doing, educating other thought leaders. I'm excited to like keep going to events. So maybe I'll see some of you guys. Like DM me and tell me like where do I need to go next? Like let's do this. But thank you for all the support, everyone. And I can't wait for the launch of the platform and all that is to come. So
crowdsource rooms to be in, events to speak at. Let Meg know where she should be. Goes on this CONCÈ roadshow adventure. We have 5 rapid fire questions you can pass. It can be a one-word answer, whatever works for you. We just want to know you a little bit as we wrap up.
Yeah.
What is one decision that changed everything for you as a leader?
Getting out of an environment that didn't serve me any longer.
What does strategy feel like when you're doing it well?
Flow, like ease and flow.
Yes. Is there a book, podcast, or person that really cracked something open for you?
Oh, jeez. There's so many. I mean, shout out to all my female entrepreneurs. The person that really cracked me, and I'll give her flowers. So, my friend Chris Gordon, who is a PR like maven. She has a company called CB Communications, and she really helped me find my voice. So if you're struggling, she does media training. I was on Good Morning America, as you know, like these opportunities that little Megan, who could barely talk about herself in a meaningful way, would have ever dreamed about having. Working with somebody that can really help you, coach you into defining your voice. What do you want to say? How to do it concisely? I think she really changed her trajectory of all I'm doing and probably why I'm on bigger stages and things. So that's one person, but lots of offerings. Yes.
What's something you've said never again to in your business?
Free consultations. I'm so sorry. I can't work for free now. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's call me, like I will find time. But I think like at the end of the day, and we struggle with this as women, it's like stop giving your time away for a free 99 because that in itself too is the pathway to failure. Like you don't have time for everyone to pick your brain. Yeah. No, time is money. You have resources. You're valuable. Everyone else has the audacity to charge. So can you. So I just don't like if people are coming to me, especially like as you build a reputation, it's an investment. I would not be here if I didn't invest in the people that I did. Period.
If you had a free weekend and zero obligations, how would you spend it?
Oh my God. Well, I just extended. I would be on a plane somewhere, probably either Napa or we would try to be going to Hawaii to like hang out. And at this point, I probably would never come back. I'm like, leave me in Hawaii. I'm done. Traveling, wine country or beach. Oh yeah. Whew.
Love it. Megan, thank you for joining me on Builders. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your passion. It's been a pleasure.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Love you, girl.
Love you too. That's a wrap for this episode of Builders, where we get real about what it actually takes to grow companies that perform without grinding you into the ground. If today's convo sparks something for you, here's what to do next. Follow the show, drop a 5-star review, and share it with someone else who's building big. Don't let it be lonely at the top. If you're ready for more clarity, more leadership freedom, and less of a duct tape and go growth vibe, let's connect. Book your free business breakdown call using the link in the show notes. In 30 minutes, I'll help you pinpoint where blockers in your time, team, or strategy are silently stalling your growth. Walk away with a personalized fix-it list that gives you the clarity you've been craving on what to shift now to regain traction and build momentum. For more tools, insights, and my no-fluff takes on leadership and scaling strategically, join the Builders Club, also linked in the show notes. You can also head over to leaderswhobuild.com, where you'll find all the links to peep my creds, see client wins, or just confirm that yes, I went to the gym today. Until next time, keep leading boldly, building smart, and living success on your terms.